That's our fear every episode.
That's my constant fear. Lyndon, do you want to do the thing?
What thing?
The
Right.
David, can you clap 3 times?
Actually, I was doing this, so you probably can't see it.
That's perfect. Oh my goodness.
Getting some texts.
Texts. Texts galore. All right. I guess we can just start. I guess we can just begin. Listen, I usually have the music playing, but this is sort of a different thing.
There's no music to talk through this time?
Not that any of you can hear, or I can hear. So it's just like we're starting out of nowhere. And then this is a new thing I gotta manage, like this angle, and you're there. Like I gotta make sure that I don't do this too much, which
do it. It's fine.
will block you out completely. And then there's texts coming through, and then we have a guest, David. he's here. David, how's it going?
I'm good.
David Hiatt is your name.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome to the podcast. This is Mission Stories. This whole no music thing is really throwing me off. I don't know what I'm doing.
Should we play the music? Would that help?
If you could just sing it, that would be great.
That's as much as I.
All right. Hey, welcome to Mission Stories. This is Troy in Lyndon. We're here. Hey, Lyndon, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I already asked you how your day was.
Yeah.
You weren't. It wasn't interesting, but do you want to repeat it to everyone else?
Just that I've switched over to the Jordan Peterson diet because I ate too much bread and I felt ill.
The Jordan Peterson diet.
I thought I'd work that in. He does this. He just eats meat.
I only eat meat. And you have to. Unless you're an SJW.
Exactly.
all...
So I've decided to just eat meat for a little while because wheat is the devil and it made me sick. So that's my day.
I realized that, in the shot where we're filming this, by the way, and if there was a shot where that would have been important, I was probably doing this the whole time. So I'm sorry. So you're on the carnivore diet. How does that? Because you ate gluten and you felt sick.
Yeah.
Boy, David, how do you feel about gluten? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan?
I don't get sick when I eat gluten, so I'll probably keep having bread.
What's your favorite gluten?
All the power to you.
My favorite gluten?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a chemist.
I
I think what you're asking me is
you're like
trying to get all scientific here. My favorite gluten, just regular old bread, I think. I like bread. I love it when you go to a restaurant and they bring you bread.
They're like, what kind of pasta would you like, sir? You're like, I'm sorry, I'm not a chemist. Can you please explain this a little bit easier for me?
Yeah.
Bread, just regular old bread.
Just regular, boring white person bread. That's what I'm into.
You just
just give me a loaf of Dempster's.
Dempster's. What's Wonder Bread? That's the whitest bread there is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you eat Wonder Bread, Lyndon?
Is it meat?
No, it's the whitest. It's the bleachest bread you've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's so many preservatives in Wonder Bread.
Don't go kicking that thing, man. Everyone,
you put it right. You put it right where my foot should be.
Everyone who's listening to this just be like, that's a horrible microphone, and it's just for you.
Yeah. Just for me. Off over here. Hey, we have a guest.
Right. David's here.
Dave or David?
Hi.
Dave.
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 I'm not gonna get mad though. I don't care.
I thought you called him Daver.
Daver?
Can I call you Daver?
You know what? You can call me. I've been called Davis, Daver,
Right.
Davey.
David?
Yeah, I've gotten that one.
David.
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever.
We'll call you whatever we want. How about that?
Yeah, just don't be mean to me.
You just gave us permission, and then we're like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna call you whatever we want.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave here crying.
David, we've known each other for a while now. How
I
many
don't even
years?
know.
It's been years and years.
Yeah, Yeah, it was, I don't know, 2013?
Yeah.
Before that, 2010.
I would like had just come home from my own mission. This is Mission Stories, by the way. We tell interesting, cool, funny, strange stories from the mission. We also discuss whatever else we want, kind of church, Mormon, or otherwise related. And I had just come home from my mission to Georgia, and I was going into the YSA, and then you were like one of the characters in YSA.
One of the characters.
And YSA is full of characters. I think you'll admit that.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some interesting characters.
Yeah, you were one of them.
You had a role to play.
How was I one of them? What did I do?
You were just the guy who like you were the clerk or something. You hung out in the like clerk's office a lot.
Yeah. I was Elders Quorum president for a long time before that.
Oh, right, you were.
Yeah.
You had the longest hair. We were just talking about your haircut you just got.
Yeah, I got a haircut today.
And you had the longest hair. It's never been longer than when you were like the Elders Quorum president.
Yeah. Yeah, had a lot of hair.
Did you get guff for that from the stake president?
No. Never, not ever once did I ever get crap from anybody.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Yeah, sorry, guff.
This is Mission Stories.
Yeah, nobody ever gave me guff for my hair.
I love how you said crap, by the way. You're a really good crap guy. Not that you're a crap guy, but you say crap. You say crap with like such...
I put a Y in it.
Do you?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I've been told that I put a Y in places where it doesn't belong.
Crap. I don't
Crap. So it's sort of like
a rap.
Yeah, I'm saying like crap. I don't know. Whatever.
I have a lot of questions about, because you're a film guy.
Yes.
Because that was going to be my next point, is that you're the film guy, and
yeah.
And I just want to tell you one thing
okay.
about like one of the first times we met, and I don't know if you remember this.
And I'm just going to preface this with whatever you're about to say. I was thinking about this while I was driving over here, because I am a film guy, and you and I have made several motion picture related projects together.
Full feature length motion pictures.
And I was trying to remember how that happened, and then it occurred to me that I don't remember meeting you. I don't remember how we.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, I remember meeting Lyndon because we didn't meet until that one Mission Stories.
Yeah, the first one.
The very first one.
The very first one.
Yeah, and so that's how I met Troy and not Troy, Theo.
I'm Troy, and
I meant to say Theo.
I thought you knew Theo before that.
Maybe I did.
Like I thought you guys were related.
Maybe we were
somehow.
like two ships passing in the night.
Maybe.
And I don't know. I don't think so, but I definitely met Lyndon there. But I have no recollection of meeting you.
So I don't remember exactly meeting you either. There were two quorums in our singles ward for some crazy reason. I don't know why. I've never seen that before or since.
And they combined them eventually.
And then they combined
their
them.
senses,
yeah.
Yeah, because I was president of one of them, and then there was a time where you and I overlapped, and you were president of the other one.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. I was the president.
Co-presidents?
Yeah, because at the time,
we would stand up at the front and hold hands and like direct the meeting one word at a time.
Yep.
Okay.
We would finish each other's sentences.
I have no reason to dispute that.
And then we would kiss each other's cheeks and sit down.
Nuzzle each other on the stand.
I would sit on David's lap.
Yeah,
we would trade off being chairs for each other.
There were two elders quorums because our ward had Okotoks in it and High River.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it was unfathomable that like people from like the Southland, that area would ever have to go to Okotoks to home teach. Yeah. And so that was kind of what was explained to me. But I lived in Calgary, and I was president of the quorum that included Okotoks.
The Calgary. Oh, you were the Okotoks guy, but you were in Calgary.
Because I was on a very, very bottom tip.
Calgary's a city, and Okotoks is like a little town, like how many kilometer miles?
It's
would you
probably
say?
like a 15-minute drive.
Yeah, let's convert that to miles for all our American listeners.
And for meters, for all of you who use meters.
That's going to count it.
How many decameters to Okotoks?
How many decameters? Listen, do the math yourself. Okay, it's a kilometer divided by 10. Okay. We're getting angry at the fans
whatever.
here. So here's what. So like we first like met each other. We're in the ward. I heard you were this film guy, and you gave off sort of this like. And I sort of like saw it a little bit again when we did Cyborgs this last time. But you have this sort of like this air about you that's like sort of like, yeah, I'm David Hiatt. What? What's up? And anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I like movies too. I had this idea for a movie, and I told you the idea, and I think it had Hitler in it or something. And you just like, and it's supposed to be like a funny idea. And you just didn't react at all to it. You're just like,
Wow.
You're like, huh, cool. Or like, you're like, there's an idea or something. And I was like, oh no, he hates me.
Oh, no. I don't remember that at all, but that's probably the kind of thing I've totally actually been into.
You know what's even worse than him hating you?
What?
Just the pure indifference.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just total apathy.
So anyway, that's how we first met.
Well, there you go.
Not how we first met, but like one of my an experience I remember.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and
we went
I
on.
just shut you right down.
Yeah, we went on to like we made like a bunch of film projects and
Yeah.
stuff together. Most recently, Cyborgs,
That's right.
The Cyborgs, a web series. Do you want to tell us a little bit about? You want to tell us a little bit about Cyborgs?
No, not really.
All right.
I'm just kidding, of course. If I don't tell you about it, Braden, my producing partner, is gonna throw a shovel at me.
He's got a shovel ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because
No,
that's my question.
yeah.
Because you guys have a long and tenuous relationship. I'm like Dave Hiatt, the guy that helps us do mission stories and films it and stuff.
Yeah.
And the guy that was in Always Made Film Festival stuff.
Yes.
So I'm like, he's a film guy. I was like, what does that mean? What are you?
I'm a-
Sounds like you're a producer, director, writer.
You're like Lyndon's like a dog, and you're like a new guy. You're like a new, and he's just cautious of you.
Because
Yeah.
here's
Kinda
my
smelling my
thing.
shoes and trying to see if I'm.
Because after the most recent mission stories,
Yep.
someone was like, "Oh, that one girl was really good." I'm like, "Oh yeah, Emma.
Yep.
She's like a pro." And they're like, "Okay, yeah." I mean, because they're like, it looked very professional for an amateur film. I was like, "Well, there's like professionals working on it," and they're like, and they like laughed it off. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure like Dave Hiatt is some sort of pro when it comes to filmmaking.
Yes, I try to be.
So I was like, explain that to me. Explain that to me and the listeners that don't believe me.
What are your credentials?
And I was like, I think Troy's been paid to act. Doesn't
Troy
that
has
make
been paid
him
to
a
act.
By
professional?
David.
Yeah.
David's the only person
On the Cyborgs.
on the Cyborgs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I don't understand the legitimacy of your guys' claims, I think our listeners would like to hear that as well.
Yeah. Well, I make movies.
Well, first of all,
I-
before you even talk about that, have you served a mission?
Yes.
Thank goodness. I'm sick and tired of having all these guests who haven't even served missions.
This is a milestone.
This actually is a milestone.
Why? Because I'm the first guest that did serve.
Yeah.
Oh, because Emma didn't, right?
Emma didn't, and then our last guest, Alex Williams, he didn't. And
Obviously,
you're the
Emma
first.
didn't.
We can all just joke about having served missions now.
Yeah.
We don't have to cut any corners. Anyway, so
Don't have to feel awkward about it.
no. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're a filmmaker.
I'm a filmmaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us your credentials. What have you made?
The Cyborgs.
The
Working on that right now.
Cyborgs,
I have wanted to make movies ever since I was just a little boy, and
Like how old?
it's really cheesy, and I
boy.
think people hate me telling the story,
Oh boy.
but I can pinpoint it. It was the summer of 1995. I was 8 years old, and wanted to make movies ever since I was 8 years old.
What was it? A movie that you saw? Was it like?
It was a behind the scenes special.
Oh, well,
So, like back in the day, for big movies that were coming out, like Fox Kids or whatever, would sometimes have a behind the scenes special. It'd be like 30 minutes of just some, the whitest announcer ever walking around a set going, "These technicians are working movie magic every day, and let's go over to the visual effects department." And then
it's a gaffer guy with like
Yeah.
a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, exactly. And usually I was pretty indifferent to them, but I've always loved movies more than I think most kids. Like I'd beg my mom to take us to movies all the time. But summer of 1995, I don't remember exactly when, but Power Rangers the movie was coming out, and I've always been this crazy, insane Power Rangers fan. Like since they started in like '93.
Yeah.
And I'm unabashedly unashamed to say that all these years later, I'm still current on Power Rangers. I love Power Rangers.
I was like, this is about to be something really embarrassing that he's about to say.
Are you a Jason guy? Who's your guy?
Who are you guys?
I was a Billy guy.
Is that the blue one?
Yeah, the blue one. Out of the first batch of Power Rangers, I was always the Billy guy. I love Billy.
Okay.
I was always made to be Billy. Whenever we pretended to be Power Rangers growing up, my cousins were always like, took all the like green, red, and then they're like, you can be blue, loser. And he was kind of the loser one, wasn't he?
No, Billy wasn't the loser.
No.
No, Billy was the one that made all the magic happen.
Oh.
Like their entire operation wouldn't be. I've always liked the.
You've connected with those guys.
I've always connected with the nerdier characters. Like Donatello was my favorite turtle.
It wouldn't be possible
And,
without him.
But like Billy was the one, they're wrist communicators.
Yeah.
So they could talk to each other. Billy was the one that made those, and he was the one that tapped it into to the grid or whatever, so that they could teleport.
Yeah.
And he ran the command center eventually, and like Billy was legit.
I did not know that. There's so much about. Listen, Power Rangers for me, I never got into it. I don't know why. It was always the thing that was on before Arthur on PBS. Was it PBS?
Fox Kids.
Know. You had like the weirdest childhood of all.
Yeah, I was like, don't ask me.
We're over here like sharing common ground. You're like, I was shooting dogs in the head when
I was not. Hey,
you're like, I refute that.
I would get up at 6 a.m. on Saturday to watch. We'd have to move the rabbit ears, my sister and I, so we could watch Power Rangers.
You were a Power Rangers fan.
Yeah, I had a teddy bear named Jason.
Right, you knew the names, but you have like this weird approximate knowledge of everything, though. So I wondered if Power Rangers was just one of those
just something I knew about,
something you didn't care, but you knew everything about it.
Well, I was obsessed.
You were obsessed with it.
I was in love with the Power Rangers.
So,
but
Power Rangers was the movie that they were going.
So they were coming out with a movie.
Yeah,
Power Rangers the movie, it was called, and Fox Kids one Saturday morning. Like they did this crazy double feature thing where they played their episode of Power Rangers, but before that they had a behind the scenes special of Power Rangers the movie.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it doesn't matter when it was. They played a behind the scenes special, and for some reason that was like my moment, because the behind the scenes special wasn't just a bunch of like 50-year-old rigging technicians putting lights up and stuff. It was like they went to the costume department and showed how they made the helmets, and they like wrapped everyone's heads in like these crazy paper mache and made these molds so that the helmets actually fit the actors' heads perfectly. And they went to the visual effects department and they had like they showed a miniature city that they built for the Megazord battle, and then they cut over to somebody over here working on a computer to like who was building the Megazord in 3D, and they were really hyping up how crazy it was that the Megazord was a fully 3D thing. And of course, you watch it even in 1995, it was awful. But for some reason, seeing all these people doing really cool jobs just clicked with me. And ever since then, I just wanted to be involved in filmmaking somehow.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so I am because of Power Rangers.
And it was like you wanted to be a director the whole time, or were you like,
no, I
kind of be like a writer or actor? You were an actor, weren't you?
I was an attempted child actor.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
When I learned that, I was like, no, this guy used to be a child actor, a regular Macaulay Culkin.
What were you in?
I wasn't in very much. I had to give it up because it was very hard on my mother. Just because the hours, like when you're an actor, you have to show up at a place. And even as a child actor, you're pretty much guaranteed to be there 8 hours in a day. And I think it was really hard for her because I came from a household without, a father in the home. And so I think it was hard for her to take time off work and to do that because we needed to be supervised by an adult. And but I didn't end up on very much. I went out to a lot of auditions, though. I ended up in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids a couple of times. They shot the
TV show?
Yeah, they shot a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show
man.
here.
Can we see clips of this somewhere?
No, I was on the show and like I was always kid in the hallway or like just an extra. But I watched the entire series when it was running and I never once saw myself. So, but I got paid.
How's the money? Yeah.
Not great. Well, I mean, when you're a kid, it's the best.
Good for a kid.
Like I think I'd go out for a day on a show like that. I'd get paid like $80, which to me was mind blowing.
That's a Lego. That's a ball and Lego set. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So, or like a bunch of Pokemon cards, or whatever I spent all this hard-earned money on, whatever garbage I blew it on. So yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I did that a couple of times. There was like this. I was a featured extra, and you can probably find this one online. There was this movie called On the Plain Road. Actually, no, sorry. It was called On the Plain Road when it was in production.
Yeah.
When they released it, it was a made-for-TV movie. They changed the title to A Loss of Innocence.
Weird.
A Loss of Innocence, starring Jenny Garth and Polly Holiday.
Antonio Banderas.
No, and Rob Estes from Melrose Place. And it was this made-for-TV movie about a love triangle that turns into a murder, set within a polygamist family.
Okay.
And I was one of
Now we're getting topical.
Polygamist kids. And it's funny because like you go back, if you can find it, I'll watch it with you. But like,
Yeah.
you can
Cool
definitely
movie.
see me and my brother. We were twins. That's why I have a twin brother, and that's why we were put in there because we were twins, and they thought that was kind of cool.
Was your brother twinning with you the whole time?
In
all
that
these,
show, yeah.
All these movies, though? All these
No, not
commercials and
always.
stuff?
No.
Commercial? Ever do a commercial?
No, I never did a commercial. I was in. Do you remember iOmega? They back in the 90s, they were huge in like data storage, so hard drives.
Okay.
And I don't remember, and I don't know if my mom has a copy, but me and my brother were in an iOmega print ad as children.
Cool.
Yeah, back when we were still adorable, before I looked like this.
You look so beautiful.
Oh, gosh.
Were you like one of, and we can move on. In biographies when they start out like, when you're a kid or like, I was born here and I grew up. I was like, I don't care about that at all. Just get to the part where you're interesting. And not that you're not interested as a kid, because you actually like that child actor stuff is interesting. I went to an awards show with Emma. It's like a Calgary theater sort of celebration thing, and I saw this kid actor there, and he was like, "Hello, how lovely to meet you. I'm a kid actor," so full of personality. He has no right to be so personality full at that age. But I guess that's like when you're a kid actor, that's what you got to be like. Were you that kid? Like, hello, sir.
No,
I
was never that kid.
You were
ever. And when I tried to be in auditions, I never got the part. And It's not like I was getting many parts anyway.
Yeah.
Because we're in Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah.
And it's getting a little bit better now, but I think back then there wasn't as much going on as there is now. But even less if you're a prepubescent boy.
Yeah.
Who's way too tall for your age. I'll tell you this story quick since we're on the topic. Right around the time that I gave it up, that I kind of got sick of it. And I should preface as well, I should say, I said earlier that like I think it became too hard for my mom. I think I was losing interest in it as well.
Yeah.
Cuz you do go out to these things, and Troy, you kind of know cuz you've done Cyborgs and stuff. As an actor, there's a lot of waiting. And people will say, I need you here at 7:00 in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
And then what they mean by I need you here at 7 is we've got a wide shot that you have to be in at 7:15. So you got to get dressed and get your makeup.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to see you again for 6 hours. So then
Yeah.
you can go back and have a granola bar and wait for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And so I think I kind of got sick of that kind of stuff. But I think the thing that finally like was the nail in the coffin for me was I lost a part that I was like inches away from getting.
To Macaulay Culkin.
No, not Macaulay Culkin, but he's actually the guy that plays Crabtree on Murdoch Mysteries.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember
who that is.
not Crabtree. Higgins.
No, people are not going to know who either of those people
Murdoch
are.
Mysteries. If you watch Murdoch Mysteries, there's a cop.
His name's Higgy.
But there was this movie of the week that was going to be shot in Calgary, a Western, because they all are.
Yeah.
And
or a sci-fi epic. One or the other.
And I got called back a couple of times. I was going to play the oldest son in this family, and it was going to be a pretty good part with a bunch of lines and a lot of screen time. And Scott Bakula was going to be the dad in that movie. And I don't know if you guys know or care who Scott Bakula was.
The name sounds familiar.
At the time, it was a really big deal for me because Scott Bakula is Captain Archer on Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh.
And so, me being a nerdy teenage kid back in 2001,
Bakula.
2002, that was a huge deal. I got called back a couple of times, and I met with the director and the producers, and I had an agent. And my agent was saying, yeah, you pretty much got the part. This is great. And I was getting pretty excited about that. And then I didn't get the part.
Who was your agent? Lionel Hutz?
What happened was
Who are you with?
there was like some final meeting where they brought in Scott Bakula and they looked at stats between me and the other kid that was like the finalist, the guy that plays Higgins. And Scott Bakula picked the other kid and made me lose the part.
That monster.
Because
He's a regular Dracula.
Because at that moment, I was like 2 or 3 inches taller than Scott Bakula. And he didn't want his kid to be taller than him. And the other kid was way shorter. Papa's Angels. Look it up on IMDb.
We hate you, Scott Bakula.
We love you, Scott Bakula. I still do.
Like, if you ever need me for a part, I'm down.
Hope you leapt home sometime. There's a little Quantum Leap joke for you.
We don't understand it. We'll just move on.
Anyway, so yeah, I did that. I was a big shot. Big shot.
Yeah, a big shot actor.
Child actor. I got out though before there was the drugs and the
before the H took hold of you. Yeah. You only tried it once, and you're like, not my thing.
Not into this.
So let's talk a little bit about. I have like some questions for you about.
We still haven't talked about what Cyborgs is.
Yeah, I
We'll
want to
get
talk
there.
about Cyborgs specifically, and then we'll talk about submission stories, and then we'll
Sure.
And then
Let's tease the people. What mission did you serve?
I went to
thank you, Lyndon.
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. Yeah,
Home of Portlandia.
that's right. Yeah,
Not a
and
thing yet. When did you serve?
A long time ago. 2006 to April 2006 to April 2008.
So the full 2 years.
I did. I served the full 2 years. Yeah.
On this show, we give precedent to the 2-year men and the 18-month women. Guess we should have a woman on at some point.
Yeah. I tried to extend in my last transfer because I was feeling really guilty about
boy.
not doing enough or whatever. And my mission
Taking
president was
naps
just
for the
like,
first
you've
6
got to be
months.
kidding me.
He's like,
Go
get
home."
out of
Yeah,
here.
pretty much. He was kinder than that, far kinder than that. But no, I did the 2 years. It was whatever it ends up being, 2 years and a week, I think it ends up being.
Yeah, something like that.
With the
734 days or
That's
whatever.
right. 734 days.
That the MTC missionaries look and that, and they're just like want to shoot themselves.
Yeah.
What was the MTC like for you? Should we just get into it right now? We'll talk
Yeah,
about
we'll come back to Cyborgs.
Yeah.
Let's plug it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got questions for him. I want it to be like a feature because for those who don't know, I was an actor on this project that David directed, And so I have questions about the production, some behind the scenes stuff. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it in whatever order you want. If you want to talk, whatever, we'll come back.
Well, I want to know about your mission though right now. What kind of a missionary were you? Were you anal? Did you follow the rules? Did you take a nap here and there? Would you sleep in? Were you militant?
No, I didn't really sleep in. Wasn't really militant. I think I was normal. I don't know. I wasn't the greatest missionary in my mission. I wasn't the worst. I think I was kind of
just riding that bell curve.
You're just riding that bell curve we were talking
within
about.
a standard deviation.
Yeah. when I trained, I did train one greenie. I got pretty anal that transfer.
Yeah.
Really stickler for the rules. We didn't sleep in the same bedroom though. Other than that though, we were.
You're a stickler for the rules.
You had a 2-bedroom place?
But disobey one of like...
No, I slept on a mattress in the living room. In case I don't know if I want to tell that story. I won't say any names.
Don't say any names.
I won't say any names. No, he just
give us intense
I think
details.
he had like some sort of deviated septum or something, and he just snored really loud. And I tried it for 2 nights, and I didn't get any sleep, and I gave up.
I quit.
And so I moved my mattress to the living room, and looking back, I don't think I handled it with as much kindness as I should have. Because he was brand new to the mission and wanted to just do a good job, And
his father, you,
and me,
couldn't stand him.
Could not be in the same. and when he asked me about it, he's like, "Shouldn't we be like we're supposed to be in the same room? Supposed to?" And I just said, "I can't. I cannot sleep in the same room as you. You sound like a chainsaw.
You have a good
like they're sawing logs, like that." Analogy for snoring, sawing logs. Have you ever heard that?
Classic analogy.
Yeah, he literally sounded like he was sawing logs.
He was sawing logs.
Yeah, he's a really good companion though, and he probably doesn't look back at me with much fondness. But hey, whatever, man.
Hey, screw you, pal. I directed Cyborgs, baby.
Yeah.
You have a good way, and then I noticed this as a director, you have like a good way of saying no to people that I like.
Okay.
You're just like no, and people, it's
just say no to people.
Yeah, it's very impartial. I find it's you're not like there's nothing worse than like I don't know. I mean, I would, but you're just like no, don't do it. There was like one instance where. Who was it? Dallas.
I don't remember this.
She like tried something, and you're like, no, don't do that.
Well, sorry, Dallas, if I made you feel bad.
No, you do that with everybody. But
I do. I don't. You know what, Dallas? I'm not sorry.
Yeah, no, it was good. I
Take the direction.
So
Dallas.
I can just imagine that you as like a director companion.
Yeah,
your companion's like maybe can we try one where we like sleep in the same room together? You're like, no. I'm the director.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could be kinder.
So you were in Portland. You were like
Yes.
kind of middle of the road missionary. Did you ever were you a district leader ever?
Yeah, I was district leader for like 5 or 6 transfers.
Okay.
I never went zone leader.
Never went zone.
Never went AP.
Never went AP.
So I wasn't as good as you, Troy.
Careful over there, Lynn. Not as good as me.
Yeah, no, I wasn't the
Very
all-star
few
missionary.
can be. Very few can be.
Yeah, no, I'll explain why later if you want.
Sure.
I just
Did you ruffle feathers?
I did ruffle some feathers.
Oh my gosh.
And it almost anyways.
Did it get
Anyways,
What?
How did you ruffle
What
feathers?
did you Yeah. Did you get almost sent home?
No, I
Did you
almost
have a
went home
girlfriend?
though. I didn't have a girlfriend.
Oh, you almost went home.
Yeah, I did.
Do we want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, whatever. It's a funny story now.
It's
I think when you're on your mission, I think you're kind of in this little bottle, right? And
Yeah.
so everything, or bubble, I should have said. You're in this mission
You're in a
bubble,
bottle.
and like the politics in a mission are kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I think members are really weird with missionaries.
Yeah, they can be weird.
It can be really weird, but when I have always had this really weird thing with the church where I just want people to like me. Like
This crazy thing.
and maybe it's a problem because I think a lot of my church service and stuff has been revolved more around, does the ward think I'm a cool guy more than I should do this because it's the right thing to do? But I have this tendency when I'm put in awkward situations, or I enter an awkward situation where I try to make a joke or something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always go over well, and that happened on my mission, and it totally killed the work in the entire area.
Yeah.
And made the ward hate us.
What is it? A prank? What kind of joke is this?
So I was giving a talk.
Okay.
I was giving a talk in Sacrament. It was my first one.
What was the talk about?
The Sacrament.
Okay.
Which was kind of a dumb talk to give a missionary. But that was the topic that the bishop wanted me to talk about.
Is that how you open the talk? You're like, my talk's about the sacrament. Kind of dumb for a missionary. Anyway.
Yeah. I'd been out for like 3.5 months. It was my second area, my third transfer. And yeah, I'd been out just a short time. It was my first talk as a missionary, and I didn't really prepare it all that well. And so the night before, I know the standard thing after this was you could use your personal study time to prepare a talk.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But I hadn't done that. So the night before I had to give it, I just got in my scriptures and I started scribbling down thoughts about sacrament. I scribbled down some stuff that I had heard in seminary and whatever. Some cool stuff that I thought was pretty cool. But I didn't really prepare, which I admit I should have prepared. But the next morning I decided, you know what, I'm going to write it all out. So I just vomited on the page, like 2 pages of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I get up to give this talk, and I was nervous, and I've always been a little nervous giving talks in sacrament meeting. I've never gotten over that. But I was really nervous and not giving a very good talk. And then halfway through the talk, I lose my spot on the page.
So you're reading this.
I'm not reading it, but I'm like
Verbatim.
trying to follow it.
Mm-hmm. How much of it are you reading?
Maybe a third of it.
So you're verbatim. You're okay.
I'm not verbatim.
Lyndon, what were you like a reader, like a talk reader? Like when did you get to a point where like you just sort of like had points?
There is a story. I was asked to be the High Council companion speaker out in the Three Hills branch.
Yeah.
The High Councilman was my father's good friend, current bishop.
This was before your
yeah.
mission.
I'm like 16.
Okay.
And I
it's like a sub-mission story.
Yeah.
We're going deep.
And I just pound out this 1,000-page, or not 1,000-page, 1,000-word. I write out crime and punishment.
War and Peace. Yeah. Like we
the
both
1,000-word talk on.
We
the
both
subject.
went Dostoevsky with that
Yeah.
one.
And I read that thing word for word. It took me 5 minutes. And then he was left with 50 minutes to speak to this branch.
50 minutes?
Yeah, because it's like a branch of like 13 people. So
Right.
Sacrament, business, that's done in like 2 minutes flat.
Yeah. It's
so,
quicker for them to come up and get it themselves.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think we almost did it like communion style. But
They kneel.
yeah,
And
so
you're
it's
like,
like that was the last one. I just read exactly what I had
1,000
written. 1,000 words. Took me 5 minutes to say those 1,000 words.
yeah.
And poor Bishy Bruce, was left
Bish
with like
Bruce.
50 minutes to fill.
He felt like a bish that day.
And I was like, you know what? I was like, I am probably not going to do talks like that ever again. And then I switched to points.
The last time, yeah, I was like, my mission farewell talk was the talk where I was like, I should probably just like learn how to talk. And so I did, and it was great, and everyone loved it. So back to your story, though.
Oh, yeah.
David. So you're like mid-talk.
So I'm mid-talk.
You're reading some of it, you're not reading.
I'm reading. It's like point form, but I have quotes that I've written
Okay.
down, and
Yep.
I was, filled in some stuff. And I'm trying to follow the page, even though I'm not verbatim.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to go through it because it wasn't a very good train of thought, but I had a train of thought that I wanted to follow.
Yeah.
And I lost my spot, and I froze, and I got a little flustered, and I'm like and I'm looking at my 2 sheets that I have, and I'm like kind of doing some of this.
How long was
And-
this pause?
In retrospect, I think it was only like 15, 20 seconds.
That's a long pause.
That's a really long pause.
It was a really long
It
pause.
was only 20 seconds.
But
so
like I was
long.
nervous and the
So you're
I thought it was a
shuffling.
stupid-
Were you talking through the pause?
no, but here's the thing. Here's what killed the area.
Yeah.
So near the end of the pause, I said, and once again, like I said before, I sometimes try to alleviate these awkward moments with a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
And looking back on it now, it's the stupidest thing. But I said there, standing at the pulpit in the middle of this awkward pause, sorry, excuse me for a moment, I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah, okay.
Having a brain fart was that keep that in your mind because that's key for later.
Brain fart.
Brain
Okay.
fart. And then I went on and I finished my talk and I thought I did an okay job. That night we had dinner with a member of the bishopric
Yeah.
who lectured me for 25 minutes about how flippant I was at the pulpit giving that talk and how inappropriate my language was, referring to the word brain fart. And I was feeling kind of bad at this point. I apologized, said, "Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Gosh darn, whatever."
You're like, mother effer, I'm sorry.
Golly gee.
Yeah, it was brain fart. We get home from working
BF.
that night. Like he dropped us off at some appointment, and then we walked home or something. And then we get home, and there's like 6 or 7 voicemails on our voicemail, all from members of the ward who had dinner appointments with us or teaching appointments with us for the following week. All of them canceled.
What?
Yeah. They all canceled. And then over the next like 48 hours, every other appointment that we had in the week, period, they all canceled. So suddenly we had this like week in front of us where we had no dinner appointments. We had nothing to do except just like walk around. And I'm feeling pretty terrible because I know this is because I said brain fart at the pulpit.
Should have said flatulence of the mind.
I should have in retrospect. So anyways,
A mind toot.
yeah, so I'm feeling pretty bad. And my companion at the time was, really supportive and like, whatever, man. And we had another ward we were covering. So
Yeah.
like we still had a few things we could do. But the next week we go to ward council and the ward mission leader in that ward was livid that everyone would like totally like ditch us like that and how stupid it was. And he kind of lectured the ward and, the bishop was like, well, I mean, it was a terrible talk and just not on my side at all. And then they ended up making me publicly apologize. Because I was like, what's it going to take to fix this? How do I fix this with the ward? And so I get up, and so the bishop was like, you just apologize. So I did it, and felt pretty bad about it.
So what did you say in the apology?
Last week I gave a bad talk, and I used some, and I wanted to just apologize for it, and I used some language that was inappropriate, and I apologize for that, and I just want you guys to know that I'm not a loser. Please don't hate me, but that whole experience kind of made me want to go home.
Really?
Yeah.
How close to
Well,
going?
What?
How close to going home were you?
Not serious enough to ever actually talk to my mission president about it. But I didn't feel like working. And, I don't know. Like this, it was such, I need to really drive home here for any non-members in the audience. This was a very weird ward in general.
Yeah.
Like the whole vibe in that ward. Sometimes you come across wards in general that really have like sticks up their butts.
Yeah.
And this was, sticks up their
Patootie.
back ends. I don't know how
Anus, I believe, is the medical term.
Yep, they had tree appendages
Up their anuses.
up their anuses.
That's so worse.
and,
That's so much worse.
The funny thing was that after I did that apology, like people warmed up to us again. It was like I don't know, but like I had a bunch of people afterwards come up to me at church and be like, and accept my apology, which I thought was so weird that they had been personally attacked by my talk. Like all these little old women, well, we accept your apology, you know, and just, I hope you learned from it. And like,
oh my gosh,
I learned you suck.
Is this like a Portland thing? Because I get this, you know, Portland's weird.
Portland is weird,
and it's like, so are the Mormons in Portland their own special flavor of weird?
No, it was this ward. It was this one ward. Our other ward that we covered at that time, it wasn't right in Portland. It was in Beaverton, which is a suburb, like another city just outside of Portland. And our other ward was just like your normal, welcoming Latter-day Saint congregation.
Yeah.
It was just this one really weird ward.
Was this ward a rich ward or a poor ward?
It was like a middle ward.
Okay.
It wasn't rich. I mean, it had probably rich parts, but wasn't. It was just middle class, regular ward.
Huh?
Yeah.
Bunch of
I don't know.
nutcases.
Yeah, it was very weird. So
That's so funny. They make you apologize.
Yeah, and then I did it. And
how long was the apology?
Like a minute. I didn't want to do it. I just did it because the bishop asked me to, and I wanted to be a good little boy.
A good little boy. You saunter up to the pulpit.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry.
But I think that the reason why,
Idiots.
like, it got in my head, like that whole experience, I really internalized it for a while, and not in the way like of how I could improve. Obviously, I never said brain fart at the pulpit again. So I guess I learned a lesson. But no, like, just it kind of made me think how like horrible these people were, and like and made me question why I was actually on a mission.
Yeah.
Like why am I on a mission? Like who am I serving here? And I definitely didn't want to serve that ward anymore. And so it sent me down a dark path in my own mind.
I became
an existential crisis of why am I doing this if the people, you know,
they don't even appreciate good jokes.
Well, that's what the people want. They want to hear how our mission experiences affect us to this day.
That's true, yeah.
This doesn't affect me to this day. I got over it.
Well,
no, you know what? Maybe it does affect me.
It was the one story you chose to tell.
Oh no, I have a couple other ones. We flowed into this one naturally.
It was pretty good. But what were you going to say before? How it affected you today? Or
I think that the lesson that I learned from that is just to chill out. You know, because we can be very hard on missionaries.
Yeah.
And like I live in a complex that has like 2 sets of missionaries, and sometimes you do witness like members questioning the missionaries on their work ethic, or you know, like, hey, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, why are you home? Or you know,
why are they home?
I don't know. We should go ask them.
But
like I think we kind of take it for granted just because so many Latter-day Saints do go on missions. But going on a mission is a really hard thing to do.
Oh yeah.
And just the concept of it, like leaving home for 2 years and giving up your music and your movies and your friends and your family and going out to a strange place and spending 24/7 with someone you probably don't like.
Yeah.
And
in all likelihood.
And you know, teaching strangers and trying to convince them that you're not a lunatic first and that you're worth listening to, and like it's hard.
First of all, not a lunatic. Second of all,
this is important.
Co-op.
Yeah. So I think, you know, sometimes we can be really hard on the missionaries and we just need to chill out.
That's so true.
And like, I mean, think about it logically. I was 19 when I went. Most of the people going now are 18 because they lowered the age.
Yeah.
Who at 18 years old is a smart, well-adjusted human being? Nobody.
Literally no one.
Yeah, you think you are when you're 19 and or 18
yeah.
and you're going on a mission. You think you're hot stuff, but
you do.
You're a kid.
Yeah.
And you know, I think just chill out and let them do their thing. And
a mission is one of those weird things that, like, and for the missionary themselves too. Like, I was this way where a mission like wound me. And I remember, like, before I went on my mission, my dad told me the story of this one a missionary that we had known, like a family friend, who went on a mission, had a nervous breakdown, and then came home. And my dad was like, you know what? Don't do that. You know, like, just relax. But, like, I got to that point where I, like, wound myself up so tight. And I think one of two things happens. You have that nervous breakdown and you come home, or you sort of, like, something kind of cracks a little bit, and then you're just like, all right, well, whatever, you know. Yeah. Let's knock some doors. I have one more question. Well, not one more, but my question for you is, did you ever, like, learn to love the people? Do you know what I mean? Like, those missionaries,
Yes.
like, I love these people, man.
Yes.
You did?
I think I did.
Cool.
Yes.
How far into your mission?
It took a long time.
Like 18 months?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah.
I think. It wasn't until I was in my third last area, I want to say. No, maybe it was sooner than that, 14, 15 months. But yeah, no, eventually it took me a long time to get over the brain fart thing. Because it was so, like, I asked my mission president to be transferred, and I ended up staying there for another 2 transfers. And then at one point they split, like, my third transfer that I was there, they split the area.
Right.
And so another set of missionaries were going to take half, and we were only going to get one ward. And I ended up being the missionary that got sent to that ward exclusively.
Brain fart ward.
And so it you know, that we recovered. We eventually got dinner appointments, but nobody would ever give us any referrals. And we were pretty much alone on an island in that ward just because of my brain fart.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't trust the missionaries.
Yeah. That's so strange.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
And it can take a while to build up a ward's trust. And like, I understand it if, like, you have some missionaries or something that were, like, you know, sleeping around or something, you know, one of them had a girlfriend in the ward or something, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, you might, the ward might be affected, but it was really weird that it was a brain fart. And it took me a while to get over it.
Honestly, I think, like, I'll just come across missionaries sometimes that I just don't like.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that I don't trust them, really. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
And so I guess it is like you are trusting your friends with to that person. And if you don't like them, I guess you wouldn't trust them.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, another quick story that you'd like to share? Or another long one?
Was that one long?
No, that one wasn't long.
Yeah, I've got a couple. You guys, why don't you guys decide? So here's what I came prepared with. I came with that one.
Yep.
Just because that's what we messaged about ages ago.
Yep.
There's the time that I destroyed, like, a 10-year legacy of ties just to see, you know, score some free ties.
Yeah.
And then there's another time that I gave a missionary a nervous breakdown by breaking into his apartment and taking in Power Ranger action figure. So whichever one.
Did you just give away the punchline to all those stories?
No.
I want to hear the second one.
All right, let's hear that second one.
Tormenting other missionaries.
So it was my first Christmas. And we did a Secret Santa in our district. And my companion at the time was the guy that I gave a nervous breakdown to. I won't say his name. He's probably never going to listen to this because he, to this day, hates me. And he's the only person I've ever met in my entire life that genuinely hates me.
Oh, okay.
And, which is fine. He can hate me. So, but as a joke, people would kind of make fun of me for the Power Rangers thing because I'm a grown man that's into Power Rangers.
Right.
And at that point, I was a 20-year-old man that was into Power Rangers, which is the worst possible time you could be a grown man into Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So as a joke, I got a missionary in the district a Power Ranger action figure for Christmas as his Secret Santa.
Yeah.
And he thought it was funny or whatever. Haha. Had some laughs. Anyways, so 3 months later, I was in a new area, and that missionary that I gave the Power Ranger to was transferred to be my companion. And when he's unpacking his bags, I noticed that the Power Ranger was gone. And so I just asked him about it. And he's like, oh, man, I must have forgotten it in that other area. Oh, darn it. And me being stupid and clueless, I didn't guess that he left it behind on purpose.
Right.
So I had to go into Portland for a district leader training meeting, like a week or two later. So we called his old apartment. His companion was still there, and asked if it was there. And he said that my old companion had come to get it.
Okay.
Because he was still in the area and was over there and saw that, that I'll just say Baron. I'm not going to... Elder Baron was the guy that got transferred in who I had given the Power Ranger to.
Okay.
So I'll say his name. He's safe. I won't say the other guy's name, though, just in case. But yeah, so Elder Baron's old companion said that my old companion had taken the Power Ranger. So I knew that I was going to see him at this district training meeting because we were both district leaders. And so I called him and asked him to bring it. And he said, sure, no problem. Yeah, whatever. I'll bring it. And then I go to this district leader training, and he wasn't there. And me being as obsessive about weird, stupid things as I am, I tried to like give him a call and figure out where he was so that after the training meeting, I could go and get this Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I still hadn't clued into the fact that Elder Baron didn't want it. Because why wouldn't you want a Power Ranger?
Okay, so you bought this for Elder Baron.
Yes.
Elder Baron leaves it behind at this apartment he used to live at.
Yes.
And then you were going to go to that apartment to get the thing.
Yes.
The toy. And to give to Elder Baron.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you weren't getting it back for yourself.
No, I was getting it
You
for
were
him.
legitimately, you're like, I'm
Because
doing a favor for my
and
companion.
to be fair to me, I hadn't clued in on him not wanting this thing because I think he didn't want to hurt my feelings. And so he was saying, oh, I must have forgotten it. He wasn't saying
So
I
he's
don't
being
want it.
sincere about it. Was this pre or post brain fart?
Oh, this is post.
Okay.
This is post brain fart. So this
is
was
a world
like,
after brain fart.
I want to say 6 or 8 months after brain fart.
Okay.
I was over the brain fart at this point.
Okay.
So, anyways, we couldn't get a hold of my old companion who now had the Power Ranger.
The guy who you do not want to name.
Yes.
Who hates you.
Who hates me.
Okay.
This is why he hates me.
Okay.
Was he the guy who was supposed to be at the district leader training
Yes.
meeting? Why wasn't he there?
They had an appointment or something and got permission to get out of it.
Okay.
I don't know. You can always reschedule appointments.
You can.
I don't know. He should have been there.
He
Yeah.
should
But
have been there.
anyways, we went and we knocked on his door after the meetings, hoping that maybe they were there. And, you know, they were good missionaries. They weren't. It was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and they weren't home.
Yeah.
And I used to live in that apartment because the missionary who took the Power Ranger used to be my companion in that area. And so I knew how to break into that apartment. And so, like, we knocked on the window and stuff. They were definitely not home. And so I climbed over the patio fence, and I shimmied the door like I knew how to do, and I was able to get in. I got in, I got the Power Ranger, and I left. And then when we got home, I called and left a voicemail and said, hey, buddy, just so you know, I went in and I got the Power Ranger, so it's gone, that's why. So we went to dinner, and then when we got back, there's a voicemail from this missionary, who I will not name, and he has lost his mind, totally unhinged.
Why?
And I'm listening to the voicemail. It's like 2 or 3 minutes of him like swearing at me.
What?
And threatening to kill me.
What kind of swears we talking
Like
here?
legitimate
F-bombs.
Yeah, you piece of...
S.
Yeah, you piece of S.
S dash dash
Mother
dash.
effing thief. Breaking into my apartment and whatever.
Holy
And
crap.
I'm sitting back like he knew that I wanted this. And he told me he was going to get it. And like... anyway, so I called him back. And I should say... I don't know what the rules are now. At the time, you weren't supposed to be making cross-mission phone calls like this.
Yeah.
But I called him back, and I just to say my piece and be like, hey, what's going on, man? And then I just sat there for like 5 minutes while he threatened to murder me, and he's going to come and kill me in my sleep and stuff.
Holy crap.
And anyway, so because of the transfer that we'd spent together, I knew that this particular missionary was a little unhinged.
Yeah.
And needed certain medications, for his mental well-being.
Yes.
And then it occurred to me while he's threatening to murder me, I bet he hasn't taken his meds in a while. And so I called the mission president. And explained to him what had happened, and he thought the whole thing was the stupidest waste of time. Up until I'd mentioned what the response was, and then he ended up calling or going over. I don't know what happened after that, but I ended up talking to him after he called me, and sure enough, he had been about 2 weeks without, or some length of time without his medication, and my mission president just wanted to assure me that it's going to get fixed and that he's very sorry or something.
Oh, that's customer service, right?
Yeah, and okay, great. So after all this happened, like that same night, I was reeling from it, like really mad, and Elder Barron admitted, Elder Hiatt, I didn't want the Power Ranger. So after all of this,
I hate Power Rangers.
Anyways, so the reason why that missionary hates me to this day is because his brother had gone AP on his mission. And so there was this expectation from his family that he would also ascend to glory in his mission. But because of that incident, he never did. Never went zone leader. And I don't know the specifics. I just know that he never went zone leader. I know that this missionary who will not be named, blames me for it. Because if I hadn't have broken into his apartment and taken this Power Ranger, he never would have lost it like that, and he would have gone at least zone leader. And he's definitively sure about this. And I bumped into him a couple of times, like at zone conferences and stuff after this. And I wanted to talk to him. Yeah. And just be like, man, I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, just to, because once again, it's that same thing. I want people to like me. Yeah. It used to be really bad with that. Like, I used to have this need. I need church people to not hate me.
Church people specifically?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
But did you at least explain to him?
I tried to.
You're like, then you would have continued to not take your medication, then probably something even smaller would have set him off.
I did have that thought, and I wanted to talk to him, and explain my side of the story. But at every like transfer meeting, zone conference, anywhere for the next year or so that we were still on the mission together, he came out with me at the same time. He never ever once would even look me in the eye. If I walked up to him, he would just walk the other way. He owned some like landscaping company or something in Utah or something. And so he ended up leaving a transfer before me, even though we came out at the same time, just so that he could get home and work on his landscaping company in the spring. But I'd heard from somebody else a little bit later on that actually part of the reason why he wanted to go home early was because he didn't want to spend the last night in the mission home with me. Like, he hates me, this guy. Wow. And I've tried to add him a couple of times on Facebook.
Why?
And I don't know, just
see where they are.
Just, you add mission people on Facebook.
Sure. Not ones that openly hate me.
I don't know. I thought maybe he's gotten over it. At that point, it'd been a couple of years since we've been home, and he just never responded. And after I tried a couple of times, he did send me a private message and said, "You need to stop trying to add me as a friend." And I just replied and said, "Okay, fair enough."
All right, cool, man. How you been though? How's it going?
Yeah, how's your landscaping company?
Do you like me? Please like me.
Yeah,
like
I don't care anymore. Like, I'm at a point now where I don't care what people think, and I think I have to be for my own sanity.
And as a director, I imagine, too. Let's talk a little bit about Cyborgs.
Sure.
So, let's tell us a little bit about it.
So the Cyborgs is a kind of a 5-episode web series / feature film hybrid. Just an adventure throwback to the 1990s. Like to old shows on YTV or Fox Kids. Yeah. And it's just about this team of psychic superheroes with these crazy psychic powers taking on an evil terrorist organization that's hell-bent on destroying the planet.
Is this for kids? Who is it? Is it?
I think
is it like supposed to be for kids, but it's sort of not?
It could be for kids. I don't think that there's any content in it that would be too offensive for a little kid.
Yeah.
But it's the way that I think about it, who my audience for the Cyborgs is, it's people like me who spent the 80s and 90s watching YTV and Fox Kids and watching shows like Power Rangers and Beetleborgs and Are You Afraid of the Dark and just sort of those, and Goosebumps and kind of those low budget but ridiculously awesome kids shows from the 90s.
Yeah.
It's for people that watched it back in the day who want to watch something similar now.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does.
So it is a little bit more grown up. Like we do have like some butt jokes and stuff, and there's some mild swearing in spots.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely PG rated. Like we're not pushing any hard content
Some
here.
hard R stuff.
Yeah.
Do you
It's going to be very fun.
very great.
And Troy's in it.
I'm in it. I play a character named Deutsch. I'm the guy in the chair. I'm in a wheelchair, but I'm the guy in the chair who, like the tech geek.
Yeah, the
dude,
hacker.
The hacker.
Yeah, Troy is Deutsch, the resident computer expert.
Do you? Your mom was the caterer.
She did cater the project for me.
Did you ever feel like, I don't know, like what does your mom think about Cyborgs? Does she like it?
She loves it.
She loves it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, she's I don't know if the show itself is her cup of tea.
Yeah.
I think she loves it because I love it. And she's
insanely
proud of you. Supportive, and she's very proud.
Yeah, because this is like a big deal. You got like 100,000. First, you got like 10,000 to make the original.
Yeah,
short.
so the Cyborgs it's not an extension or a sequel, sort of a pseudo sequel to a short that we made a couple years ago.
Yeah,
where we got $10,000 to make just a 10-minute short of the Cyborgs, and that one you were in that one as well as Deutsch.
Yep.
And that one was just the same thing. It's this team of psychic heroes, and they're fighting toxin. In that one, they're trying to stop the evil General Blight from selling cigarettes to kids. He's based his entire terrorist organization around selling substances,
selling
cigarettes
to a demographic who doesn't have money.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Is this in the same universe as that Billy Ray Sun Smasher?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, Billy Ray Sun Smasher, I think, is dead and buried. Although maybe, you never know. Maybe
Not the same cinematic universe.
it's not
then.
the same cinematic universe.
Um,
Billy Ray Sun Smasher was...
I'm in that, in Billy Ray Sun
and
Smasher.
Troy is in Billy Ray Sun
You know what's
Smasher.
funny? When you first you're like, hey, I had this crazy idea. The Cyborgs was like, it felt like nothing. It felt like you just thought of it like off the top of the dome.
I
kinda
sort
thing.
of did.
And you like kind of pitched it to me like, okay, what do you think? And I was like, I don't want to be Billy Ray Sun Smasher again because John Carbon is like, I mean, the way that Pat does John Carbon is like, it's different and it's unique and it's cool. But like, if I was gonna be John Carbon, it would have just been like Billy Ray Sun Smasher as this guy.
Yeah, I should explain this in case Pat's listening. Pat, it's not that you weren't the first choice, buddy. It's that we for the first Cyborgs, in order to get Tellus to give us the $10,000, we had to make a pitch video.
Yeah.
And so Cyborgs was this idea that I'd been playing around with for a while, but I kind of heard about Story Hive a little bit late in the game and decided to go for it later than some other groups did. And so I was trying to throw together this pitch video. And at the time, like I would have, definitely cast you as John Carbon. Sorry, Pat. But just because of your proximity.
Sure, yeah, like we were just
and but I needed to get this pitch video made, and I had this crazy idea at this stupid warehouse. Not stupid, actually. The place was gorgeous. And I don't know if your audience has seen the original pitch video, but that's some good work we did. But yeah, John Carbon was basically Sun Smasher.
Yeah.
And I kind of wrote him the same as Sun Smasher.
Yeah.
And you were not interested in doing that again.
I just didn't like Because, yeah, General... I don't know who the Sun Smasher, like, villain name was, but it was Daryl.
It was Daryl.
And he's kind of the same. He's so much cooler in Cyborgs, but...
He was Lord Despot
Lord...
in Sun Smasher.
So that was kind of like the same. But I was just like, I don't know about all this, man. And so I was like, I'm out. And then you're like, hey, the guy that we were going to get to do Deutsch, he can't do this pitch video. Can you just... And it was sort of like a, hey, we can't...
Yeah.
There's no one else. Can you do it? And the rest is history.
But it ended up being amazing. Like, the result of it was kind of amazing. I texted Braden, I mentioned earlier, Braden Brickner, when you didn't want to be John Carbon, and just said, hey, I need to get this pitch video done. Do you have any idea who else I could ask?
Yeah.
And he said, why don't you ask Pat Mack? And we knew Pat from another short film that Braden directed called The Shooting of Dan McGrew. You can check it out on Vimeo, I think. It's based on a poem by Robert Service, this classic Yukon poem. But Pat played Dan McGrew in that. And just because I was so flustered and stuff, I kind of wasn't thinking about Pat. But as soon as Braden mentioned you should ask Pat, it kind of just clicked. Like, oh yeah, obviously I should ask Pat. And I did. And then you did me that solid because another buddy of mine just bailed on the video and came out and did that that pitch thing. Yeah. And then it ended up being kind of amazing.
Yeah, and it just kept succeeding.
Yeah.
He just kept winning over and over again. I was like, no way. And I mean, like, obviously I counted Cyborgs out from the beginning because I was like, not interested. You know, like that shows like what my tastes, you know, what my ability to pick a winner is. But yeah, and then it got to 10,000. I was like, all right, we'll do it. And then you're like, yeah, we're gonna do another one. I was like, we'll see how this turns out. And then you're like, yeah, we won the 100,000. And so now I'm just like, never bet against the Cyborgs. It will always win. When does it come out? Where can we watch this?
Not for a while.
Not for a while.
So right now where we're at with the Cyborgs is it's about 85% complete. We don't we have to deliver it to TELUS because TELUS is they funded it.
Yeah.
It's an original content for them. We deliver it next month, but they have been kind enough to hold it back for us.
Cool.
So I actually don't have a release date just yet. But they held it back until early 2019 so that we can have a fighting chance at film festivals.
Cool.
And we've submitted to a few. We've got a lot more we're going to submit to once it's actually finished next month. But the festival circuit, we feel, is the best way to get advertising for Cyborgs, get eyeballs on it.
Yep.
Just because, you know, when it's so hard to get eyes on something on YouTube.
Yeah.
And even if it's a high quality piece, like I think Cyborgs is, it's the best thing on YouTube. But, you know, a lot of people don't go to YouTube to watch stuff like that. They go to YouTube to watch vlogs and stuff, unboxing videos,
ASMR sort of stuff.
Yeah, they like to listen to attractive women crinkle rappers close to a microphone, but they don't go to YouTube for 10-minute long short films, and so it's hard to drive people there. But yeah, TELUS has been great the entire time, and they were really supportive of us holding it back. So it's going to come out sometime early next year. Once we have a date, we will announce it on our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. But July 10th, we do have the full trailer coming out.
Whoa.
Yeah. So people are going to be able to see the full 2.5 minute-ish teaser trailer.
And it is jam-packed with Deutsch action.
It is going to definitely have some Deutsch action. I can guarantee that much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And where can people watch that?
Well, it's going to be on the Beta Force Carbon YouTube page. So Beta Force Carbon is a production company that I started with Braden, who we've mentioned before, and our other producing partner, Nick Haywood.
Yeah.
We have been making short films and stuff for a long time together, and we kind of just decided it was time for us to legitimize ourselves. So we started production company.
Are you incorporated?
Yeah.
You're incorporated. Are you the top dog? You're a director?
Well, I am a director of the Cyborgs. The
I
three
mean, like
of
a
us.
corporate director.
I am a director of the corporation.
The three of you.
The three of us are directors of the corporation. Yeah.
Whew, that's
I know.
big.
Hotshot Davey.
Lyndon, you know all about corporations.
Corporations are people.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's all about the people.
Yeah. We decided to get married, so we had a.
You basically are married.
Yeah. That's how it was explained to us by the lawyer.
So Beta Force Carbon, that's people can find you that way on YouTube, on Instagram.
Yes. So
right?
on YouTube,
Facebook?
look for Beta Force Carbon.
We could put like a link in the description.
On Instagram, we are at Beta Force Carbon, and it's spelt exactly as it sounds. So Beta, B-E-T-A, Force,
Force.
S-E, F-O-R-C-E, Beta Force, you spell force the right way, Carbon, C-A-R-B.
C-O-R bar on. Anyway.
So Instagram and Twitter, we're at Beta Force Carbon, and then you can find us on Facebook at The Cyborgs.
You got all the socials covered.
Yeah. And we frequently post different things to all three, so if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and updates with the Cyborgs, like us on Facebook at the Cyborgs and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Beta Force Carbon.
We'll put all like a bunch of videos or links to videos in the description.
But
so
we have
watch it.
Aside from the trailer that's coming out on July 10th, we've got a lot of other Cyborgs related content coming. We've been putting out our carbon footprints.
Oh yeah,
which are these public service announcements by John Carbon, who is the leader of the Cyborgs.
Yeah.
Teaching us valuable lessons about water conservation and
they're funny.
How to treat your teachers.
They're funny. There's one where like Pat's just drinking water the whole time,
getting waterlogged. Yeah,
he's like burping into Mike. Yeah, it's really funny. Check them out. David, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Hey, thanks
for sharing your mission stories. I know I don't think I'm ever going to say brain fart from the pulpit. What do you think, Lyndon?
I'd like to give it a try.
I think if you want a guaranteed way to make the Beaverton Second Ward hate you.
Oh, now we're dropping names.
Oh, shoot.
Let's all go to the Beaverton Second Ward, Portland.
It's been 12 years. I'm sure the composition of the ward has changed. A lot of people have moved out.
Are you going to go back to the ward? Have you been back yet?
I've never been back.
I haven't been back to my mission. You've never been back, Lyndon, have you?
I have not.
I don't...
don't do it. It's
go
weird.
back and show them Cyborgs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
They'll
show up.
Hate it.
I'll have been crying, so my eyes will be all puffy and red, and I'll just get up there and be like, "See,
fart you,
go brain fart yourselves."
Oh, with that, let's wrap it up. Thanks again, David.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're the best, Lyndon.
Best in the biz, like we always say.
He is the best in the biz. We do always say that. We filmed. Yeah, you filmed. You were on our Mission Stories short that we just shot. You shot it.
Yeah, I've shot a couple of your Mission Stories shorts.
And he's the best in the biz. We couldn't stop singing your praises on the day and forevermore. Thanks, David. Lyndon, send us out.
Stay true and faithful, everyone.
True and faithful. Bye-bye.